Hello everyone, this video will help you to learn more about common behavioral problems in children. I am Dr. Celeste Mary, Vice Principal in Administration at Triplum College of Nursing. By the end of this session, learners will be able to define the term behavioral problems and analyze the causes of behavioral problems in children and able to enumerate the classification and types of behavioral problems in children and assessment of common behavioral disorders and they able to describe the nursing responsibilities of behavioral problems in children. Moving on the topic, behavioral problems in children are relatively more common. Such problems can reflect the child's social stressors, environment and the developmental state. These problems can troublesome and threaten the normal relationship between the child and others and interfere with their social, emotional and intellectual development. Next is about the definition of behavioral problems. It means when the children cannot adjust to the complex environment around them, they become unable to behave in the socially acceptable way, resulting in exhibitions of peculiar behaviors, and this is called as behavioral problem. Next, we can move on to the causes of behavioral problems. That is faulty parental attitude, which means failing to understand the child's mind and not spending time with the children. All this affects the child behavior, and other causes is inadequate family environment, which not providing emotional support or not giving opportunity to ventilate. All these are the family environment which affects the behavior of the child. Mentally and physically sick child or handicapped conditions and which influences the social relationship, that the mass media also influences the child behavior, and the social change is also other reason for the child behavior changes. Here we are going to see the categorization of common behavioral problems in children. It is classified as 8 divisions. First is the habit problems. The example of habit problem is thumb sucking, nail biting, pica. It means eating unwanted things. And the next one is the speech problems. Example of this condition is the fluttering, or it is called as stammering, delayed speech and cluttering. And next is about personality problems, speech problems, conditions like somnambulism and nightmares, sleep talking. Another division is eating disorders. Example, bulimia nervosa, anorexia nervosa, and scholastic problems, sexual problems in children, antisocial problems. All these are the categorization of common behavioral problems in children. Next, we are going to see the classification of behavioral problems. In previous slide, we have seen the common categorization. All this categorization of behavioral problems is grouped under, based under age and nature. Age we can classify it as infancy disorder, childhood disorders and adolescent disorders. And according to the nature or based on nature, the movement problems, habit problems, toileting, speech disorders, sleep disorders, eating disorders and school problems. In this way we can categorize or classify the behavioral problems. Here we are seeing the conditions of infant age group like impaired appetite or resistance to feed. The child may resistant to feed and abdominal colic, stranger anxiety. All these are the examples of behavioral problems in children. Next, we can move on to the childhood common behavioral disorders like temper tantrum, thumb sucking, breath holding spells, nail biting, enuresis, encopresis, habit spasm. All these are examples of childhood. Along with that, the child with attention deficit hyperactivity disorders, sleep disorders, speech problem, all categorized as a common problem in childhood period. Next, we can move on to the common behavioral problems of adolescent period. The example of condition is masturbation, juvenile delinquency, substance abuse and anorexia nervosa. These common behavioral problems are based on the nature like problems in movements and their habit pattern, eating pattern and the toilet training problems, problems in speech, problems in going to school and sleep disorders. Like this we can categorize the behavioral problems in children. Next, we can move on to the assessment of common behavioral problems in children. First, we have to assess whether the child is happy or difficult to manage the environment and the child's response to the new situations. We have to see whether the child is excessive demand of any attention, problems of toilet training, and having habit of nail biting, thumb sucking, eating unwanted things, etc. All these measures we have to monitor whether the child is having or not. Finally, moving on to nursing responsibilities, assessment of specific problems of the child by appropriate history and deduction of the any responsible factors, and informing the parents and making them aware about the causes of behavioral problems of a particular child. And next, we have to assess the parents, teachers and family members for necessary modification of the environment at school, home and the community setup, and encouraging the child for behavioral modification as needed. Another responsibility of nurses, you have to promote the healthy emotional development of the child by adequate physical and psychological support, creating awareness about the psychosocial disturbances which may lead to behavioral problems during the developmental stages, providing counseling services for children and their parents to solve the problems whenever necessary and to tender the loving care of the children, participating in management of problems as a member of health team along with a pediatrician, psychologist and social worker, and referring the children with behavioral problems for necessary management and support to have better health and care facilities, child guidance clinic and social welfare services and support agencies. Thank you.